Hello again, and welcome back, everybody, to another edition of the Rural Report. I am your Rural 2IC, and let's see how this one goes. As you guys know, I'm starting to try and get with the technology, and this is going to be, I think, my second video I've ever recorded on the laptop. Bear with me. Let me know, one, if the audio is good, which I have a new microphone that is coming this week, so we'll see how that goes, but let me know if the quality of the video is okay. I know the old phone with the app I can do like 4K. I don't know on this one how well it's going to do. But all right, here we go. So I was looking through some of my statistics and different things, and I saw somebody uh, comment on a really old video, and it was on networking. And I thought, hey, you know what? That would be a really good thing to revisit. All right, so let's talk networking. Now, I know that there's the golden rule that everybody says that, the number one rule about prepping is you don't talk about prepping. Okay, well, I mean, you're going to have to do you there, boo boo. But, for me, if you're coming to my channel, then you're obviously into some sort of social media. Humans, for the most part, are social creatures, okay? You came to a platform that is basically a social media, and you are watching me, listening to me, or other people, okay? I'm not the only one on YouTube. That means that even though we're not in person, you are trying to seek out guidance. You're trying to seek out a even like a virtual friendship, you're seeking something out that is with another human. Now, most of you will never meet. Some of you, depending on where you are, we may meet at a event or something like that. But it's okay when you're networking. And we'll get into mags here momentarily because these go hand in hand, if you will. But networking is remarkable. And to be able to reach out, and this is where you have to have the understanding, because I'm not a tech guy, okay? I don't like technology at all. As much as I would hate to admit it, I would almost embrace an EMP if it wasn't for all the death and destruction of others, because it would really take out the excuse for a lot of people. You would have that oneness where everybody would be forced to come out and to socialize and to interact with each other and to work together. And it's not this sit behind and be that keyboard warrior and all the other stuff. It's insane to me watching another podcast, and they were saying that it's not going to take but another generation or two, and the only people that they're going to technically know what they look like actual, no, not a picture, not a screen, what they know what they look like is going to end up being whoever's in the household. And it's kind of in that realm. You can sit there and watch anybody on the screen. You can watch an actor or an actress, and then when you see them in real life, they look totally different. And if you don't believe me, think about you being at your work. Okay, everybody, all your coworkers, they're all in a uniform. Let's say that it's dressy shirt or some sort of polo or something like that. You see them day in and day out, every day, over and over and over. It's the same thing. It's a blue shirt and khaki pants, whatever it is. Okay. And you see them like that for years. Well, all of a sudden you see them in, Walmart parking lot, and you have to kind of look and you go, man, I know that person. Is that Bob? Because they're totally different. They're out of what you recognize them in. And so it'd almost be the same thing as seeing me in like a tuxedo or something. Uh, Rural doesn't do that, okay? But there's a ton of things that I have learned from people that is on the West Coast. I have learned people from other countries. It amazes me on taking something like fire starting and the methods that I learned growing up as a kid and the methods that I have learned clear up until recently, and then to learn how people do it in Australia or in Canada or in different other places. We have subscribers here from all around the world, and it's amazing to tune into some of these channels and to learn their methods and how they do it and what they use. And that's where networking comes in. It gives you a fresh perspective on what a lot of us take for granted. I know how to start a fire with a lighter and a match and flint and steel. Okay, well, I know three methods, that's good enough. Well, to watch these people from other parts of the world do it, it's remarkable. And it really teaches you a whole new level of respect, and it humbles you going, I never thought of doing it that way. And it just puts another quiver, right back here of another skill that I can now go, okay, I'm going to go try this. I'm going to see how comfortable I am, see if I can do it. And if it is, it's just another one to put with it, but, back for later use. Now, this also goes into being able to do in-person networking, okay? And I get this a lot of, well, I can't find like-minded people. All you have to do is look for some sort of homesteading event, some sort of prepping, bushcraft, something along those lines, okay? It's not that difficult. You're just going to have to maybe put some effort into it because of where you live. You may have to drive 45 minutes, an hour, hour and a half, whatever, to get to it because most of these are not in a major city. So if you are in, downtown Dallas, it may be an hour, hour and a half drive to drive out into more of a rural place to go to a homesteading event. Uh, I know SRF is coming up here in Tennessee, and it's big. There's people that come all over the United States to this, and maybe you can't make it. I know that money's tight for a lot of people. I know, being able to drive or take time off work or whatever, but they're out there. Okay, maybe you can't go this year. Well, they have it twice a year. They have it in the spring and the fall. Find one and go to it. Okay, take your excuse away. You want to find like-minded people, go to an event. If you want to find like-minded people, go to your local, farmers market. Go to a farm. What's the worst that they're going to say? Don't go in there, guns blazing, and you're the greatest thing since sliced bread. Go in there humble and just talk, get to know them. Go to a small store and see if there's a flyer, hanging up of if somebody needs work on the farm. Go be a farmhand for a week and gain some experience, network, gain the friendship. And then I get the whole thing when it comes into a mag. Well, I can't trust anybody. Okay, that's a horrible way to go through life. Trust me, I get it. Okay, it is difficult to trust people right now. But the whole lone wolf thing does not fly well with me. I don't understand it. You can't do everything at once. Even if you're a guy in your, you know, upper 30s, lower 40s, and you was in the military, so you're military trained, you're firearms trained, you're survival trained, you learned how to cook and sew and do this and do that. You can't do it 24/7 and have your guard up the entire time. You'll go insane. You won't be able to sleep, and and let's war game this out, okay? Let's play this out for a minute. So you're by yourself. You're Mr. or Mrs. Lone Wolf, I suppose, and you're at your dwelling out in the middle of the woods or whatever, and let's say that you're out gardening. Okay, well, all of a sudden, one of your, let's say, booby traps or one of your pre-alarms goes off. Okay, well, now you have to drop everything you're doing and run and take a defensive stance and see what's going on. All right. Well, how long are you going to do that? Okay, let's say there's another noise. Okay, well, now you got to try and, figure all that out. Well, at some point in time, you're going to have to tend to your crops. And I'm going to tell you, if I'm going to war game this out, let's say I'm on the other side. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is keep my distance and see what's going on. So if I call out, hey, I mean you no harm, and if you're Mr. Lone Wolf and you go, nope, you need to get off my property. If I'm desperate, okay, and I'm just trying to war game this out, we're just pretending. If I'm desperate and I look out and I go, man, you got a garden going on, you got a dwelling here, and you seem awfully defensive. I bet you got some supplies. All I got to do is wait you out. I have the freedom. I can move around the whole thing. Well, it's my property. I know it better than you. Okay, fair enough. But time's on my side. Okay, I can come and go as I please, and depending on where I'm at, you won't know if I'm still on property or not. I can be quite a ways away and hurl a rock and make a noise, and that's going to put that person right back on edge. And so, what are you going to do? Think about your garden. You don't go out and tend to your garden at some point in time. There goes your entire winter stock right there. If I can just hold you out for a little while, I mean, how are you going to get fresh water? If you can't get out of your dwelling, how are you going to get outside and do anything? If I'm just constantly out there and just constantly, being a headache. Now, if we were to reverse the roles and I was the lone wolf on the inside, it would be much more difficult on my end. So you would constantly have to keep your head on a swivel. And so even if you watched and I go, okay, they're right here, I can't turn my head because the second I do this and come back, they moved. And now I've got to completely go on a whole search and try and find them again. And so I don't know if they're alone. I don't know if I'm being ambushed. At some point in time, I'm going to have to sleep. I'm going to have to go to the bathroom. I mean, you're going to have to eat. You're going to have to do a bunch of different things. And to be able to do all that, I mean, just think about that. Think about there's two people outside and they were taking 12-hour shifts. They can eat, they can sleep, they can go to the bathroom. One can go out and forage and come back. And all they got to do every once in a while is just make some noise. Hey, we're still out here. Hey, we're still out here. Eventually, that person inside is going to, make a mistake. They're going to do it. Lone wolfing's not the thing to do. Okay, for two people on the outside and one person on the inside, they got two chances. The person on the inside is going to have to be right 100% of the time, the entire time. That's not good odds. Strength in number. Okay, remember that. That saying is good. And I get the all the arguments. Trust me, any argument that anybody's going to make down in the comment section, I get it. I've heard a ton of them. You're going to get the you can't trust everybody. True, very true. We've already done a video on how to vet people. Is it 100%? No, nothing's 100% on all that. But you're going to have to do something to try and vet them. Once they get in, you don't know if they're going to flip. You don't know if they're putting on a show. You don't know if they're on medication right now and they got 10 days worth of meds. And on the 11th day, they're going to, flip and go insane. Uh, I mean, there's a lot. I get it. It's a risk. But then again, everything we do is a risk. We just take it for granted. Uh, Getting up is a risk. Going outside is a risk. Taking a walk, getting in the car, walking into Walmart is a risk. Okay, and so we just take it for granted. I think there's a lot of people that I think underthink and overthink a lot of things, and I believe when it comes to and you're going to have to put this into your own situations. You have to figure out what works best for you, what the pros and cons. When you're doing anything along these lines, I want to open your mind, and I know it's a small piece of bias because I try and take a middle stance. But this is one of the ones that I refuse to take a middle of the road ground with. Doing anything like this is going to be bad. Okay. You're obviously into networking because you're watching a channel trying to, interact. And I love it when you guys interact. I get emails all the time. I answer stuff in the comments. We have fun during the lives. I love the network. And so I encourage you guys to network. You see somebody in the comments, say hello to them. I see it a ton in the lives. You guys interact and everything with each other. That's great. Keep doing that. And then, all of a sudden they're going to talk to somebody and then you're going to see it and then you'll be able to talk to them, or you ask them a question, they'll tell you to go talk to this person, and the circle grows. And that's what we want. I mean, if you really stop and think about it, if you can have different little groups and people and families and stuff all over the place, think about a really, really, really bad SHTF situation to where you really have to move. And I'm talking move, move, not 10 minutes down the road, not hiking for, 20 miles. I'm talking like really move. Think about how it would be if you were in Maine and you were, traveling down. You couldn't stay where you was, and you go, all right, I know somebody, in Connecticut, and then I know somebody in Virginia, and then I know somebody, and you can just kind of trek around and, think about that. There's a ton of people that I know that will live in a tri-state area. There'll be Indiana, Kentucky, West Virginia, and Ohio. And you got four little things right here, and they will literally do that. Hey, if something happens on the coast and we all need to head west, we all can kind of go to one spot. And hopefully it never comes to that. Hopefully they never have to test that out, but they're giving themselves an option. And I honestly, I applaud that. There's a bunch of people out there that have really great ideas, and sometimes it can be something as simple as trying to tie your shoe. I've been doing it for years, and I'm going to show you the way that I tie my shoe, but maybe my method is not the correct way for you. And I know it sounds silly, and I get it, but maybe you need to learn a slightly different way. And that's where networking comes in. You can ask me all the questions you want, but if I cannot get it across to you and my ability to do it, then it's not going to work out. Something's got to give. Either I've got to adapt and change my teaching methods, or you're going to have to adapt and change, the way that you're learning it. Or another person can step in, show you the way that you need to be taught, and then you're off running, tying your shoes. And so I hope that you guys understand the message that I'm trying to get across. I hope that you guys understand that networking is very important, that friendship, that community, that being together is really what's going to get people through. There's sayings that I love and there's sayings I absolutely loathe. And one of the things that I love is it takes a village, and it really does. We are a prepping community, and we do everything that we can to try and help each other. And sometimes that is teaching each other a skill. Sometimes that's giving some advice. Sometimes it's just chit chatting and having a little bit of brotherhood and a little bit of fellowship. And it takes all kinds. Okay, remember, we're all human. We have good days, we have bad days. We all have different connections. We all have different pasts and different experiences, and you never know that that person that you needed in your life is right there, and you just need somebody else to make that connection. You need them to make that introduction. And so that's what I try and do. That's why I try and bring people on and do all these different cross interviews with other channels. It's not a thing about trying to gain their followers. It's about the subscriber base that I have to introduce them to another genre. Maybe they're a specialty in a good field. Maybe they have a different point of view. Maybe they come off more harsh. Maybe they come off, a little less. Maybe they're more religious. Maybe they're more free spirited. Okay. I want to put it all out there and you decide. That's the biggest thing on my channel. I present, you figure out what to do with it. So, all right, this went on for a lot longer than I wanted. So, guess what? If you made it to this far in the video, guess what? You rock. I appreciate you for spending a little bit of time with me. I hope you guys have an amazing, amazing day. I have no idea when this video is going to be posted, so I don't know what to say to watch out for or what just played or anything along those lines. I'm trying to get way ahead so I can keep content going for you guys. All right, so stay tuned. There's definitely more information to come, and if you're not new here, guess what? Say it with me. Above all else, remember to remain united because we're all prepping in this together.